I'm Hemant Mehta.
And I'm Jessica Blimke.
And you're listening to the podcast for FriendlyAtheist.com. You can now listen to all of our episodes and see show notes at FriendlyAtheistPodcast.com. I am here with Lauren Lane. Lauren's the executive director of the Skepticon conference every year. And I wanted to bring her in to talk about what it's like to run a conference of that size, because it is huge and it takes a whole lot of effort. So thanks for being here. And, you know, as we get closer, when is Skepticon?
It's November 13th through the 14th, or 15th this
year. The 15th. And as we're getting closer to it, how stressed out are you getting?
I mean, right now I'm feeling pretty good, but the closer it comes, like, the more stressed out and, like, stress dreams happen. And I'll get, like, the night sweats. I wake up and I'm like, oh, my God, the thing. But after 8 years of doing it, I feel like we've gotten it down.
Yeah.
So I am less worried, or maybe my worries are less founded on the actual like things that are going to go wrong.
So what's new about this Skepticon compared to all the other ones?
This year we're having all new speakers, so there are no returning names.
Okay, so that sounds hard in a sense. Like, how do you find? Is that hard to find brand new speakers to address a conference of that size?
I guess so. I think, you know, our method for finding speakers has always been make a giant list, and then argue for hours over the names that we've chosen on this list between, like, the 8 of us. So I think it's just changing that we've had to exclude people who have been at the con before, which, I mean, it was relatively easy to do.
Yeah. What are some of the people you have coming this year?
So many. I have all the names. Which names do you want?
Whichever ones people seem to be really excited about, or when you announce them, they're like, oh, my God, that's so cool. How did you get that person? Because there were a couple names that I thought that when I saw the list.
Oh, well, see, I don't know which names those are.
I know the first one that stood out to me, just because it was different from anyone I'm used to hearing talk to, like, an atheist audience. Mm-hmm. There was, like, an MMA fighter.
Yes! Mary Ann Franks. She does Krav Maga. Or no, wait, no, you're talking about Fallon Fox. But we have more than one person who does, like,
that's crazy
fighting styles.
So what's the connection to skepticism then?
I mean, Fallon is an atheist and has, like, attended a few cons. I think she went to American Atheist Conference, and I don't know, we just were like, this sounds really silly because this is getting into the mind of Skepticon.
Yeah.
We're very theme, or maybe I'm very theme oriented. We're like, skate, yes, sports, skating, active. We need people who are active. We want athletes to come this year. And so she was one of the people that popped up as an atheist athlete. So that is why we reached out to her.
That's interesting. I remember going to some conference once where I heard an opera singer talk about skepticism. And it's like, what's the connection there? And she's like, you have no idea how much superstition there is in our world that the public never hears about. You just see the product on stage. Yeah. And I wonder how much there is in, like, something like MMA and something like
I'd imagine it's fighting. Like, you know, like soccer, maybe baseball, where you wear your lucky socks and you don't wash them or something. Or, like, you have a ritual that you do before you bat where, like, you'll get a hit. Like, I think sports is very superstitious.
Yeah, absolutely. How do you guys put on... This is a free conference.
Yes.
And you're bringing in a ton of speakers. You're flying them in, which costs a lot of money. You have to secure a venue, which costs a lot of money. How the hell do you keep it free for people to come?
Lots and lots of hard work.
So what goes into that? Because I'm sure there are people who are like, I would love to come to Skepticon, but if I can't come to Skepticon, it would be so cool if that was somewhere in my area. Right. But as any conference organizer I've talked to has said, like, the hardest part is trying to get a little bit of funding. So maybe you could bring in one person and you can hit up donors in your area maybe to pitch in, but, like, that's not easy to do. And yet you guys are going on 8 years of a free conference where you bring in, like, dozens of people. How does that happen? Is it all donors? Is it all something else? How are you making that work?
It's a combination of things. You know, we crowdfund, I guess, in a way, and that we get a lot of donations from the people who are coming. And then we try to do fun fundraisers where, you know, we have T-shirts for sale or something. And then we have sponsorships that we offer for businesses, and then tables. Selling table space helps. It's like a combination of all of those things, but I would say for the most part, it's people just donating money.
They're grateful for the conference itself.
Yeah, and we offer incentives, like if we have like $100 donation, you get a certain thing at the con. Like we try to keep it like you're not just giving us money, like you're getting something in return. Not only a conference, but also this extra perk.
And is there anything? I mean, here's the question then: Skepticon is I think there's like one or two big free conferences that happen right now in the country. Is there any reason other people couldn't do it somewhere else? Or is there some special sauce in Skepticon that says, all right, we can do this here, but good luck trying to start it somewhere else?
I don't know if there's a special sauce so much as you have to work really, really, really effing hard to get a con off the ground, because you're doing all the groundwork, you're doing all the fundraising, and it's all on you, and it's hard. It's hard work, and it's often thankless work, and
how many of you you said 8 of you are on the staff of putting this together. How many of you are doing this like full time?
Oh, full time. Maybe about half that at any given moment. Like, I'm consistently in the mix, and then there's Floyd and Rebecca and other Rebecca, and really we all have our separate jobs that we've kind of like separated over the years, that what we're good at, what we want to do. So there's someone for tables, someone for workshops, someone who works on sponsorships, and I do a lot of the speaker wrangling because my name, I guess, is more associated with Skepticon.
So you're not doing, none of you are doing this full time, but this is all just, is it volunteer or anyone getting paid for this?
No one gets paid for Skepticon.
So it's all volunteer run.
All volunteers.
And how much time are you talking that it takes for someone saying, I want to put this together myself or something?
I don't know if I want to say because it's going to make me sad.
Okay.
It's basically a part-time job for me.
Yeah.
And I'm sure for others as their jobs become more important during the year. So and closer to,
you're like a tax accountant or something in March or April.
Yes.
At all times.
Exactly. Because there's one moment of the year that's pivotal, and everything else is just like the groundwork.
Right.
Yeah.
So do you get to enjoy Skepticon when it comes around, or are you just a constant ball of stress?
I think it's more the second one.
Yeah.
Because I'm constantly concerned, like, there's something going wrong, or we got to get this set up, or we need to wrangle these people for this thing. But I would say it's gotten less stressful over the years because we've done it before. We know how to like roll with the problems and the punches that come our way, and we can kind of anticipate when things are happening, and everyone's gotten really good at like stepping up and doing what they can do.
When you're talking to other conference organizers, because I'm sure you guys swap war stories of all sorts, what are some of the problems maybe that other conferences have that you guys have avoided? Is there anything unique to Skepticon in terms of the issues that might come up? I don't know, because of it's a free conference?
I don't know. I can't think of any problems that we have that other cons don't. I mean, when you get a bunch of people in one space, it's fairly typical stuff. Like, there's going to be maybe some fights or some disagreements, or someone's going to be naked in the elevator.
Of course.
Like you do. So, I don't think we have any. Well, I guess, there was that one gun incident, but
yeah. Like, someone was just being stupid, basically, and scared some people.
Yes.
And so what do you do in that situation? Because you're not trained to deal with that specific situation. So how do you handle that sort of thing? Because you don't expect that going into an event.
Exactly. Well, we just worked with the convention center security because they had a protocol in place, but it happened off campus. So it was very, like, gray area if there was ever a gray area for a problem. Yeah,
one of the things I wouldn't want to follow you like during Skepticon weekend because you're doing so many different things, and
I don't sleep.
Yeah, and anyone who's coming to the conference, like, go sit down and enjoy the conference.
Yeah.
We will handle everything else.
Exactly.
How did this thing even begin?
Way back when JT and I were undergrad students at Missouri State University, we hatched this plan to bring some speakers to campus, and that was PZ and Richard Carrier. And then we liked it doing it the first year. We decided to do it again, and then it just got bigger.
Did you get funding from the campus to do it that first year?
Yes. As a student group, we got so much money to put on events, and that's where most of our funding came from. Although the university was not exactly helpful, or we had to like front a lot of that first year on our own and then get paid back later, which was ridiculous.
Yeah, especially when you're college students already.
Yeah.
So you did it that first year. What made you think, all right, let's do this again?
Well, it was very stressful, but afterwards we were just on such a high. We were like, yes, we did it. People loved it. We changed hearts and minds. We are on fire. And then we decided we had to do it again. And then it just the momentum just kept building up. Like, every year it would be hard, but it would be worth it. And we would be fueled to do another year. And
one of the things I constantly hear from people who attended that conference is, that was awesome. Yeah. They've been to paid conferences where they had to pay registration and stuff that didn't have the variety of speakers or as pleasant an experience for whatever reason.
Wow.
And I'm wondering, like, how did you guys figure this stuff out? Because, again, this isn't an insult, but you guys were college students. You don't know what you're doing in terms of putting on a conference.
I know everything. Don't you know that? Oh my God.
But there are professional organizers that run some of these conferences, or they do this full time, and they can't achieve the sort of just good, positive experience that a lot of people get. Yeah. What is it about you guys that makes it work?
We're amazing.
Just like that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, a lot of it we learned by trial and error, and then I think, doing some research, asking other people who have done it before how they handled problems, or just using common freaking sense and being like, if we were going to a con, what would we want to see? What would we want to do? How would we want to be treated? And took it from there.
Is there anything you did at one of those earlier Skepticons that now you're just like, oh, I can't believe we did that?
Yeah, we tried to do like a speaker volunteer dinner at one point, and it was just like a total hot mess because there was only so many meals, and like more people showed up than we had meals for, and so people were sharing meals, and I felt really bad. Yeah,
and what's the protocol for those of us who don't? If you just show up to Skepticon and enjoy the conference, we don't ever see what happens behind the scenes. Let's say Skepticon just ended.
Yeah.
What are you and your team doing afterwards? Besides, like,
sleeping.
I was going to say sleeping and then having, like, a crazy drunken celebration of sorts. But, like, after all that dies down, like, what's the post-mortem for the conference? What do you do?
Well, I think after the con, I think on Sunday night, we all get together and we just kind of decompress and talk about the weekend, how it went, and we tell each other stories. Like, remember when I was skipping down the hallway? Yeah, there was a thing happening. And I was like, oh,
I had a smile on my face, but
yes, everything was fine. Yeah, and then we take a good month off. Like, we don't really talk about it or do any work on the next year, but we might look at the first thing I think we do work wise is look at comments and suggestions from that year.
That people left you.
Yeah, because when the con is fresh in our mind, we can decide whether or not the comment is helpful or hurtful. And
what are some of the helpful comments you've gotten?
Well, gender-neutral bathrooms, workshops were a suggestion. We were like, we should have workshops. That's fucking genius.
Yeah.
Yeah, just tons of stuff.
Because all these people are coming in and they're like, yeah, you want to hear the speakers, but it's like, I want to do something.
Yeah.
And the workshops kind of help you get active.
Exactly. And the dance was also a suggestion. Maybe not like on a suggestion card, but someone was like, there should be a dance at Skepticon.
And so last year you had a prom of sorts.
Yeah, so we had a prom. I was like, this is true. We need a dance. Thank you for bringing this to my attention.
Something I've never seen anywhere else, by the way.
Oh, yeah. You're welcome, America.
Well, it was good. You guys had photographers and a DJ and everything.
Yeah, I think we just had the photo booth, and then Josiah took it upon himself to sit there and take pictures of everybody, which was really great.
Yeah.
He loved it, and it worked out.
And your videos are awesome, too. Like, how does that work?
This sounds weird, but it's almost like, there was someone up above had a hand in this.
Yeah.
But the Skepticon team, we all seem to have a diverse set of skills. Rob, who went to college with JT and I, he is really into video. And he's made a documentary, and he's making another one about Thunderdome. It's about his Nerf. That sounds weird, but he made like a Nerf battlefield in his backyard out of pallets, and he's like, oh, it's crazy. You have to Thunderdome. Google it. It's amazing. Yes. And so he does all of our videos for us, and as he's gotten better, the videos have gotten better, and he's really a stickler for making them good.
Yeah, and that's one of the nice things about being able to do this year after year, which is everyone just ups their game, and it's awesome because everyone's better at what they're doing.
Yeah.
And things are smoother, and
like
it's
really
cool.
8 years in, I think we're getting a handle on what we need to do.
Yeah. So when you go to other conferences, what's going through your head?
I don't really go to other conferences. I feel it.
Or when you talk to other conference organizers, like, what do you pick their brains about? What do you want to know from them?
Oh, I mean, I want to know, what's next for them? Like, what are they thinking about in the future? Like, because, I feel like specifically conferences like ours where like the power is not necessarily in an organization's hands, that you can do so much more with what the con is about, and
because you don't necessarily have to.
We don't have to answer
the group.
Yeah, we're not pimping a group; we're just pimping dinosaurs. So it's a lot different.
Yeah. What is the reaction you get from people who come to the conference? Yeah, they love it.
Yeah.
But like, there's something specific about it that they really liked?
I think they just like how lighthearted and fun it is. And yeah, I think we as a team, we really enjoy doing Skepticon. We like putting it on. And so I think that translates. Like people are like, these people are really loving it. And they, in turn, the people coming love it.
Yeah, and I think the speakers are always bringing kind of their, this sounds weird to say, but they're bringing their A game when they're giving a talk, too, in terms of this is the thing I want to say to, how many people are you getting at Skepticon?
About 1,500.
Which is crazy.
Yes.
Like, that's a lot of people for any atheist. It's like a low number for a church, but it's a high number for, like, an atheist conference.
We're not quite to church levels yet, one of these days.
Yeah, but when you get a chance to talk to, like, 1,500 skeptics, atheists, it's like, what message do you want to send them? Because it better be interesting.
Yeah. Well, and then we tell speakers, like, we don't really care what you talk about. We just want you to be really, really excited to tell these people about it.
Yeah.
Like, what do you want to talk about? We don't want...
And it's neat because not everyone's talking about atheism. Yeah, I don't need to convince 1,500 atheists why they shouldn't believe in God. They're talking about their passions and their other issues that may be tangentially related to religion. But I remember, like, the first time I went to Skepticon, and you guys basically said to me, like, talk about whatever you want. I'm like, I want to talk about math. And you guys, whatever, all right. And it was a blast. It was so much fun. Great. That was very cool. And it's the sort of, you could do whatever you want. That's something you don't hear from every conference. Do you think, one of the things I've noticed just watching kind of the atheist world, there are so many conferences.
Yes.
Some local ones that are maybe smaller venues and stuff, but just a lot of them. I mean, it's kind of hard to live anywhere right now and not be within a few hours driving distance from one of them. Are we experiencing some sort of like overabundance, oversaturation of conferences, and is that going to hurt some of them? Or
I wonder about that too. But I think I'm just more excited that more people are doing things than I worry about oversaturation or, you know, something like Skepticon dying because there's just too many cons out there. Because it's good to see people, you know, taking that into their own hands and making it happen in their area, like bringing someone to speak or a dozen someones to speak.
What advice do you have for someone who wants to start, maybe not a conference, but okay, I want to bring a speaker or two, try to get some local people together to enjoy that, experience it. How do you even get started with something like that?
I always say start small, like only bring in a couple of speakers, because what you learn on a smaller scale will help you as you grow or decide to abandon this project. And be prepared to do a lot of work. It's very thankless, but there's a lot of details that go into bringing in someone.
So if they need, let's say they need money to bring in a speaker, I don't know how much that would be depending on where this person is from. I think everyone at Skepticon who speaks there forgoes an honorarium.
They do.
Yeah. So they might get their flight and stuff paid for, but that's like it. They're not getting paid for actually speaking. But
they get paid in our love.
Yes, which is priceless.
Yay.
But yeah, if you're trying to get money for that sort of thing, to bring someone in or to rent a venue or something like that, where do you even get that? Where do you start with that? If I'm a college student and I have no money and I have a lot of debt,
oh, if you're in college, it's perfect because you can create a group and then you get funding through campus.
Okay, so doing it through school is one way because the school has money for that sort of thing. Let's say I'm out of school and local. Like, who do I ask for money? How do I find this money?
I would say national organizations. You should hit them up. And then find other organizations in your town that might be interested in partnering with you. And then get the word out. Ask people with dollars to give you money, people with no dollars to give you their time. I feel like there's no rock you should leave unturned when fundraising because any idea could work. Like Skepticon has done many things, and many things have sucked. Like we did, I think, a cookbook once and no one cared about it, and we did a children's book once and no one cared about it. Like you just try things and bottom line, have fun doing it because you know it's going to be hard, and if it's not fun, you're not going to.
What have been the more successful fundraisers for you guys?
Begging really in fun ways.
What are some of the fun ways?
Oh man, I think we did a Reddit AMA where we like did shots for however many upvotes. Like maybe we didn't get a lot of money, but we got drunk. So
someone won.
Someone won. I think we all won that day.
As long as you're typing while you're getting more wasted.
Yes, as long as you have one thumb ready for texting. That's good. I think I would have to look at like the actual numbers to tell you what is the most successful. But I think right now, like this year, registration for the event is where we get the most money because people are looking at, our call. It's like, if everyone who came gave like $20, it would really help cover most of our costs here.
And so it's a free convention, but they do have to register so their name is in your books.
Yes. Yeah.
But they can donate if they want to.
Exactly.
And more people are donating. Like, no one's just saying, nope, I'm not giving you.
Yeah, more people donate because, we ask many times during that process. I feel like just ask a lot. Like, you're going to get sick of asking people to give you money, but just don't give up. Just be like, hey, by the way, we need money to make this happen. And so.
I've heard that from professional fundraisers. They're just yeah, it's going to be an awkward thing to do.
Yes.
But you're just going to keep doing it.
Yeah. Like, be prepared for the no and, like, way psyched when you get the yes.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. How far in advance do you think about future Skepticons?
A year.
Is it so, are you thinking about, this is the one coming up now, is
Yeah.
Skepticon 8.
Yes.
Are you already thinking about 9?
Yeah, we've already locked down a date.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
And is that all the thought that goes into it right now? It's just like, okay, we locked down the date.
Yeah.
We haven't thought about speakers yet. We haven't thought
Right.
about anything different that we're going to do.
Yeah.
But we got the important thing booked, so we
Yeah.
can revolve around that thing.
I think just by chance we already have more done for next year than we have any other year because when we were reaching out to new speakers, there were some people that couldn't do it this year but were interested in doing it in the future. So we have maybe 4 or 5 people who are already pretty...
So you have some names on the
I
list
do.
that you're like, all right, we'll get in touch with them for the next one. That's awesome.
Exactly.
So what can people do if they want to come to Skepticon, if they want to donate, which, hey, by the way,
dollar bills.
what should they do?
They should go to skepticon.org, check us all out. We've got everything there on the website, where you should go, what you should do, where you're going to stay. And if you want to throw us a couple dollars to make one of the coolest, most dinosaur-riddled conferences in the world happen, we would greatly appreciate it.
And the conference takes place where?
Springfield, Missouri.
Springfield, Missouri. So it's pretty much driving distance from, I don't know, a giant
the middle of
swath of the
America.
country. I think that's Ken Ham's tagline too. Like, we're driving distance for like 2/3 of the
Really?
country.
Ew, Ken Ham.
Yeah, I know. You're just like him. Dinosaurs and everything.
Oh my God, why?
All right. So thank you so much, Lauren. And
Thank you.
yeah, as someone who has been to Skepticon and spoken there, I'm telling you, it's a really, really good conference. And if you are anywhere near the Missouri area, give yourself, take the chance, take the time to go there and enjoy it and experience it. It's really good.
Come hang out with us. We're cool.
Yes. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thanks for listening to the podcast for FriendlyAtheist.com. This episode was taped at Cinnamon Sound Studios in Aurora, Illinois, and the music was written and performed by Brad Chagdis. If you like what you're hearing, please consider making a contribution at patreon.com/Hemant, that's He-Man T. We appreciate your support. I'm Hemant Mehta.
And I'm Jessica Blumke. We hope you'll join us next time.